Things like the dual mandate means there's more local authority power than there has been because you don't have TDs sitting on local authorities. There is a devolution of power to local authority the like which we haven't seen in the last 10 years. There's things like capacity to ring fence some funding like the local property tax into local authorities. So hand in hand with that, there has been a shift towards a greater level of power to the local authorities, offsetting some of what you talk about.
I'm sorry, Anton, but what you've actually said is factually incorrect. You're wrong. What has happened with the delivery of local services, the policy seems to be, in particular by this government, centralise everything.
If it's only the factual inaccuracy?
I'll tell you now. If you take, for instance, even when a person picks up the telephone and dials 999 for an emergency call, before that call was taken in County Kerry, if you were in Kerry, if you were in Cork.
And the factual inaccuracy, Michael?
The factual inaccuracy is because you were trying to say that there's a better delivery of local services now.
No, I said that there were a series of policy changes that could act as counterpoint to some of what you suggested. You said something was factually inaccurate. What was it?
I'll give you an example. You said about the property tax. You're trying to give the impression that the local authorities are going to have more of a say in what's happening with that money. They're not. I mean, long ago, when motor tax was collected, it was kept in the county in which it was collected. Now everything is centralised. And let me make my point about the dialing 999. Simple thing, right? People have lost confidence in that service. And I'll give you an example of why. In recent months, a person in Tralee made a call for an ambulance. The ambulance was dispatched, all right. It was dispatched above in Cork, to the same address above in Cork, because the people in the call centre, you see, you have simple things even such as
Michael,
accents, local knowledge, that's all taken away.
Can I ask you, if this is, what you believe is true, you have a government that is anti-rural, that's what you're saying. Why would any government choose to pursue a course of action that is anti a giant proportion of the population? Yes. And who is made up? The government is made up of people from the countryside. I don't understand the issues of those in the countryside.
Not at all, because I'll tell you what the government is made up of. It's weighted with ministers from the greater Dublin area.
But do you think it's an anti-rural government?
And you've had backbenchers who have been in a coma for the past 3 years. They've been sound asleep. I've seen people wake up from their slumber below in County Kerry because they got a shock with the results of the local elections. And I would never name people, but there is people from my constituency who have woken up. They were sound asleep. They didn't open their mouths. Now they're looking for ministers to be sacked.
That's what I was about to ask you. Yes. Before we run out of time, how do we fix things?
I'll give you a very important example of something that they could do if they had the brains to do it. We have an excellent post office network in Ireland at present. It's great, it's working, and it's good, and it's valuable to our communities. It's in severe danger at present. There are decisions that this government could make. For instance, Wonder Woman. That's Joan Burton. She likes to be called Wonder Woman.
I don't think she does, Michael.
Well, she does. And I know she does. She could do an awful lot to save our post offices by making sure that new recipients of social welfare payments would be encouraged in a very proactive way to use their local post office. Instead, what are they doing? They're sending them to the banks. They're sending them to building societies, but they're not sending them to the local post offices.